topics and subjects, and hopefully you'll find it entertaining. On to the video. What we're going to talk about first is something that I touched on before, but due to a issue that I had at a recent game. I was at a game on Saturday. Today's Monday, and I'm traveling. We went Saturday, and as on the way there, it was going to rain. They're talking about rain during the day and stuff like that. So you have to do certain things in prep for rainy weather, and I'm going to go over each one that I think you should do. 1. Prep to keep yourself dry. Dress accordingly. Now, I had heavy boots on. I had, it was cool. It was like just 50 and rainy. So I had a t-shirt on with my combat shirt over the top of it. And then I had a water-resistant vest. And then I put my BDU jacket over it. When I got there, I took the BDU jacket off and I put a rain poncho over, and then put my gear on, and I ran that for like 3/4 of the day until it stopped raining. Took off the poncho and just wore my gear over it that way and called it good for the rest of the day. But if you keep your core warm, keep your core dry, you're going to be good for the whole day. 2. Bring extra clothes. I can't stress this enough. If you gotta drive like an hour or more, you don't want to be sitting in your car with wet feet, wet clothes, everything like that. So the minimum you should bring is dry socks and dry shoes, or just shoes, period, other shoes. I bring a pair of socks and my sneakers. I normally also bring a shirt or an extra jacket in case I want to take off some of the clothes that are wet, and I would put them on the drive home. If you have ever driven any distance with wet feet, you'll understand why I say shoes and socks. Number 3, be a considerate driving mate. If you're driving with someone, or if you're just driving yourself, getting in the car with all muddy shoes and pants and shirt and whatever else on is a bit disrespectful to the person that's giving you a ride, and kind of dumb if you're doing it yourself. I usually bring 2 garbage bags. The first garbage bag is for shoes. I put it in there, and my wet socks, any wet clothes that I want to take off and put in there. This way they're not like rolling around and all over the place inside the car. The second garbage bag I use to put on the seat. Now, I will change my shirt out, sometimes, like go right down to bare skin and put the new clothes on, new top on, and socks and shoes. That's fine. And there's only one time I ever dropped trow and changed my pants because they were completely covered with mud and I didn't want to get in the car. But most of the time, I'll change my top and I'll change my socks and shoes, put them close in the first garbage bag. And the second garbage bag, I will put on the seat. Because I've got a clean top on, clean shoes on, I don't have to worry about the top of the seat or the floor mats. But putting it over the seat, so it's over the front of the seat a little bit and up the back a little bit, where all your pants are going to hit, will save your seat from being soaking wet in case you got to use it the next day and it doesn't dry out. And you don't want to get mud all over it if you have to drive it the next day with better looking clothes on. And as a person receiving a ride, it just shows a little bit of respect for the person that's giving you that ride. You don't want to get his car all shit that he has to clean up or dry out for the next day. The last thing I'm going to talk about is replica prep. Your airsoft replica for the day. Now, if you're using gas blowbacks or a pistol with HPA tap and stuff like that, I wouldn't even worry about it. Like, just when you get home, you clean them up and everything's good to go. If you have an AEG, first thing you want to do is
please report it ahead.
Get a garbage bag. Please report it ahead. Get a garbage bag and just like make sure that your gun is covered. One of the things you could get wet is you get those gearboxes that are like, you know, the uppers that have cuts in them and shit like that. Lets all the water in there. That would like actually be nasty. I wouldn't want to have that. So it's one of those things that you want to have your replica, you know, covered and with good protection so the water doesn't get in there. One friend brings a garbage bag for his, and what he does is he cuts a hole in it on the bottom, sticks the barrel out, and then wraps the rest of the gun up with tape all the way back. He even brings a second one in case he has to put it on the opposite way so the gun is completely covered. The only thing that's sticking down is the mag, you know, which, you know, is very little can happen to that. But he's run all day where other people have had problems. There was a guy there at the game we're at, and it was raining slightly. He had a AEG with a gate tighten in it, and it started acting up and quit on him. And he's like, he said, I'm going. He said, I have another gun with a gate tighten. I'm not going to bring it out and destroy it as well. So, no prep. Now, if you have HPA, the biggest thing that I do is I take a Ziploc bag and I put it around the micro battery in the FCU, and then I tape it or wire tie it or zip tie it or twist tie it, and then fold it over and stuff it in the stock or wherever it's got to be. I played all day in the rain with an HPA replica and never had an issue. So that's a simple trick to just do. So prepping your replica to be able to be used on a rainy day is important. Also, break down when you get home. You want to make sure that when you go home, no matter what it is, gas blowback, HPA, AEG, you want to break it down enough that it dries out, clean the barrel out, you know, wipe the gun down, because they will rust. Certain guns that have steel parts on them, they will rust, so you want to make sure that they're all good to go. I hope these tips like help you out a little bit. I've already touched on this video like this before, so maybe I added something this time around. So I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, you have a good day.
Let's see the gun. My, that's a big one.
Oh my